Good morning. So we're starting Shin Ayin Dalet today. There'll be time hopefully just for Sif Aleph. Nistan b'Shabbos Pesach Eichalon b'Makom she'erev bay. So again, we're talking about where you've got two chatzeros next to each other, at least two houses in each chatzer, and we want to know whether or not you can make one erev or two erev, and how does it work? So if you've got a proper wall between the two chatzeros, so then you can't make one big erev across both. If, however, there is a Pesach, there is an opening in the wall, then Ma'arvin Echod, Ma'arvin Shtaim. That's what we've said all along. Now here, what we're going to deal with today is a situation where you had a Pesach, and they made an Erev across both Chatzeros, and that was fine. But the trouble is that there was like the Pesach got blocked up. So if you got here, you got a nice picture of it. In this edition, you've got a chotzer, two chotzeros next to each other, and there was a whole pile of material, and then it became blocked up with a wall that fell on next to it or something like that, and it blocked it up. So that's what we're dealing with in this situation. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, okay. So you've got it, the Pesach became blocked up. So says the Mechaba, Erevu derech chaloin o Pesach shebeneihem. They made an Erev between these two chatzeros by way of a chaloin, a window, or Pesach, like an opening between them. V'nistam b'Shabbos, and somehow over Shabbos this Pesach became blocked up. Nevertheless, mutarim lishtamish derech gova hakoisel v'cheirav. You're allowed to use it. The erev is still functioning, and therefore, if you want to pass things through over the wall or through little windows in the wall, that would be allowed. Now, why is that? Says the Mishnah Berurah, V'nistam b'Shabbos kagon shenoftam apolos kenegdei. So, for example, there was a pile of bricks that were opposite the Pesach, and then they just collapsed on Shabbos, and they blocked up the Pesach. Mutarim l'shtamish mizuluzu b'Shabbosu. You're allowed to transfer from one chotzer to the next, i.e. the erev is still functioning. V'chol shekain, at least for this Shabbos, v'chol shekain kol achas la'atzman muteres. And certainly each chotzer individually can take things from the bias into the chotzer. In other words, the erev is still functioning. Af oisa she'eino erev menachas b'soicha. Even that chotzer where the erev is not inside it. So, for example, let's say chotzer A and chotzer B made an erev together, ma'arvin echod, and you put the bread in chotzer A, so you can transfer A to B, and each chotzer is functioning with its own erev, i.e. that you can carry from the batim to the chotzer both in A and in B, even though the bread is in A. Now, derech gova hakoisel v'cheirav, you can transfer from one chotzer to the other. The erev is still functioning. Even though the chiddush is that even though the Pesach is blocked up, ein ru'uyin lehisarev yachad. And therefore, you couldn't really be ma'ariv yachad, because the holes in the wall where you're passing things through haven't got the shir v'chaloin of a proper Pesach. Nevertheless, the erev is not bottled for this Shabbos. To kivin shehuta b'tchilas haShabbos huta lechol haShabbos, and that's the rationale. Since at the onset of Shabbos you had a Pesach and you made an erev between these two chatzeros, that will last for the entire Shabbos, even though on Shabbos the Pesach has been blocked up. Okay, continues the Mechaba. Va'afilu im erev l'shana v'nistim haPesach b'chol. Even if you made this erev for the whole year, and it got blocked up during the week, on a Thursday, on a Friday, v'niftach b'Shabbos, and then it became opened again on Shabbos. Va'afilu stoma b'mezid, even if you blocked it up b'mezid, chaza ha'erev le'ateirei, then the erev sort of resurrects itself and it becomes good again. Says the Mishnah Berurah to Sif Dalet, Rotzalema, lo mibayim niftach kedim Shabbos. Not only if it was this Pesach was actually open as Shabbos came in, which bevadai have erev, then the erev is certainly going to be okay for the rest of Shabbos. Because on Erev Shabbos, when Shabbos came in, there was a Pesach there, and therefore there was opening between both chatzeros. Even if the opening opened on Shabbos itself, since at the time when you placed and set up the erev, you set it up for many weeks or for a whole year, the erev was active, was functioning. Lachein, and therefore, af b'Shabbos acheres hoyasosum et chilas haShabbos, even on a later Shabbos, a subsequent Shabbos, it was blocked from the beginning of Shabbos, v'lo hoya oz ha'erev moyer leklum, and therefore the erev wasn't working because you've got a block between, you've got a wall, a proper blockage between the two chatzeres. Nevertheless, mikol mokum loinis battle, it's not defunct. Umiyad sheniftach chozo ha'erev leterish, and as soon as the wall opens, then we're back to its functioning use. Va'afilu sosma b'mezid, even if you close it on purpose. Hainu b'kavona. V'da. They say that in a situation where you closed it on purpose, then even if it opens again on Shabbos, it's no good. Why? Since you did it on purpose, you blocked it up on purpose, then have a k'mevatel ha'eruv b'yodayim. It's as if you've destroyed the eruv. Because you're demonstrating that you don't really want this eruv. Since therefore the onset of Shabbos this was blocked up, it's not going to help you that later it became opened on Shabbos, someone moved away the impediment. And therefore you can't be makel when you actively closed it up, only if it was opened again before Shabbos. That even then we can say that okay, you closed it up and therefore it's nisbatel. Since you reopened it before Shabbos, at the end of the day, there's a shutfus in the past. It's still, the bread is in chotze or something, and therefore that we can resurrect it. And therefore, since when Shabbos came in, you had a Pesach between them, it's roy la'arev, it's okay to make the eruv in that situation, and only then would it be okay. So we should really be machmir like this Magen Avraham. If, however, when you closed it, you only did so temporarily. Okay, so what have we said? We've said if you've got let's do the Rambam and then I'll summarize. Just the last line. According to the shit of the Rambam, if in a situation where it was nistam b'Shabbos, that doesn't allow you to carry from one chotzer to the next, only from each chotzer, from the bias to the chotzer to the bias of each independent chotzer. Avol mezula zulay, but not from one to the other. Says the Mishnah Berurah, the Rambam, Sif Kotzen Vov, Koya Reish Hasif. This is going at the beginning of the Sif. Heichesh enistem Pesach b'Shabbos. When the Pesach got blocked on Shabbos, the Leder Rishain, according to the first opinion that the Mechaber brings, Mutar lishtamish mezula zuder chirin. You're allowed to move things from one chotzer to the next through little holes in the wall. But according to the Rambam, we can't allow you to transfer from one chotzer to the next, only within each chotzer. V'harvusahu, and the chiddush is even the chotzer where you haven't got the bread in it, the Rambam allows you to carry. That's the chiddush. But if it becomes open again, even the Rambam would agree that if the blockage is removed, that you'll be able to carry like originally. We paskin not like the Rambam, like the first shit of the Ken Kos Achreinim. So just to summarize what we said, you've got two chatzeres next to each other. And therefore, since you've got a Pesach in between, ma'arvin echot eishtayim, and you chose to be ma'arv echot, so you take the challah and the matzah and you put in chotzer A. Then the chotzer, the opening gets blocked up. So since since it was open before Shabbos, we still allow that to go. According to the first opinion in the Shulchan Aruch, not only from the bias to the chotzer of each chotzer, but even from chotzer to chotzer. According to the Rambam, not from each not between chotzeres, only that bias in chotzer. We paskin, says the Mechaber, or says the Mishnah Berurah, like the first opinion, and then we said in the middle that even if he made it for the whole year, and then it got blocked up, v'nistam haPesach b'chol v'niftach b'Shabbos, even as Shabbos came in, it was sosum. Even if he did it b'mezid, then it got unblocked. Chozo ha'erev leheterid, that's allowed again. But the Magen Avraham is machmeh if he did it b'mezid. If it became unblocked before Shabbos came in, then even he would agree that would be okay. All right, that's the end of Sif Aleph.